Hello, everyone. This is Rahim Lakhani, the President and CEO of the Lakhani Group Family Office in Portugal, live from Lisbon today. I'm so happy to be speaking to all of you through this mode of LinkedIn webinars. It's been an amazing response over the last few weeks in terms of people joining in from various different parts of the world. And today we will actually talk about the path to Portuguese citizenship, very specifically how to navigate the Golden Visa program. And I have the pleasure here to have with me 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐴𝐻𝐿. He's been running a fantastic operations out of downtown Lisbon on from several years now, specifically in Golden Visa projects, and very happy to have 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐴𝐻𝐿 here. And in a minute, you will hear about all the different things on how to navigate the program, what could be potential roadblocks, how can you overcome that. So chime in, put your phones on silent, let them all go away for the next half an hour and tune in, listen to what we have, and ask your questions. Okay, please, and do not stop and wait to ask your questions. Ask your questions right away, and here we are. So perfect. Just some disclaimer that you can obviously read, mandatory disclosure. So again, my name is Rahim Lakhani, and as I mentioned, I'm the president and CEO of the Lakhani Group. We are a real estate developer. We've been real estate developers for many years now in various parts of residential, hospitality, student housing. And I am actually a Canadian living in Portugal for the last 4 years. Has been a fantastic journey. Even throughout COVID, it was just amazing. The people here, the culture here, we're just happy to be in Lisbon and also keep delivering new and amazing projects. So thank you so much for the support that you've given to us and the confidence that you've given to us by investing, with us and alongside us and from us. So we're so thankful for your kind support throughout this journey. So before I kick things off, I'd love to play a quick video about Portugal, about Lisbon. So here it is. Feel free to share your feedback in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to even point to you the different things that are displayed in the video. So here it is.
Why do so many investors fall in love with Lisboa? Easy. There's no other city that combines this beautiful view with the beauty of these numbers. Lisboa is the closest European capital to the United States, South America and Africa, with 250 departures every day, and being the only capital in mainland Europe sharing the same time zone with the British capital, with more than 300 days of sunshine throughout the year. Lisboa is surrounded by more than 20 wonderful golf courses, only 4 train stations away from the beach, and just 1 hour drive from Nazaré, home of the biggest waves on the planet. Selected to be the 2020 European Green Capital, Lisboa transforms ecological concerns into reality, being the first European city to have a municipal fleet where 100% of light vehicles are electric, a huge recharging network with more than 540 stations, and 100% of the city lights running with LED technology. Innovation and adaptation are part of the mindset, with 90 colleges that produce 30,000 graduates a year, with 60% of them in business, tech or math degrees. No wonder Lisboa attracts global investment from all around the globe into our entrepreneurial community, an ecosystem dedicated to helping new businesses where 2 new startups are created every day. With more than 100 co-working spaces spread all over Lisboa, and with a 90-kilometer bike lane that reaches all corners of the city. It's so easy to enjoy the view commuting to work using one of the 2,150 shared bikes and 5,500 soft mobility vehicles. How about this? Lisboa is well known as a city that embraces diversity and welcomes all kinds of races, ethnicities and religious beliefs. All that in a city with 7 Michelin-starred restaurants, and this sunset included. So, how about investing in Lisboa? Lisboa, the beautiful side of business.
Isn't that just awesome? So if you are not impressed by that, I don't know what you'd be impressed by. Okay, that is Lisbon for us. We are so happy to be in such a progressive European city. That is Portugal for us, and we're literally just at the tip of the iceberg here in terms of where these things can actually go. So now, with no further ado, let me present to you Senor Vasco, and talk to please, Senor Vasco, go ahead. Let's open the doors here. Why Portugal? What's your journey been like, and everything about Portugal
Yeah.
that you feel
Okay.
confident.
Just let me give me just a few seconds on myself. This is it may not look like sometimes like today. It's a very, very busy day, but it is my retirement job. And I say that with a big smile, because the only that has been my life most of the time. It's I enjoy work, and I enjoy what I do. Before coming into this is coming here, I started as a professor at university in numeric intensive computing, map data processing. Then I went to the Middle East. I lived in Qatar for many years. I returned back to Portugal, and then I started working with one of the biggest consulting companies, with Arthur Andersen, then Andersen Consulting, then 𝐬𝐸𝐶, where I spent 17 years, and I was working all over the place. My area, my scope of work was including Spain, Portugal, all African countries, and the Middle East. So this is when I retired. I had my family group, and I just ended up after a few days of rest, a few years of rest, I took some responsibilities again back in the group, and I enjoyed doing it. And basically, if I have to summarize my life, my life has been spent on demand development. So basically, that's what I like to do, even on the real estate currently. We started. We have a company that started back in 2000, so we are now 22 years old. And my main role in with our group of companies has been to develop to do the demand development, because we have very good products in Portugal. We have very good characteristics of the country to offer, and the Golden Visa has kind of exposed and highlighted all these characteristics and way of life. And one thing I can share with you is this: when I was in Doha many years ago, and I was looking to the map and saying, "Where the hell is Portugal?" And saying, "Wow, so little, so far. Who hell is going to remember about it?" And they say, and then I've been a little over the place and said, "Well, I'm biased because I'm Portuguese, of course, but it's kind of strange when you are far away and you look and say, this is a nice place to live. Lifestyle and quality of life is actually interesting, nice, and good in this part of the world." And I'm saying I'm biased, okay, but
You have to come to see it.
but it is kind of interesting, and I think this is kind of an invitation for all the people that are around, that they can come and visit us. This has been also always an interesting part. In terms of what is the highlights that we can put on Portugal, it's one thing is safety. Okay, safety is probably, of course, we have crime. Of course, there are people that get murdered, but you don't have situations where you think like the world is going to finish tomorrow or something of the kind. It's far away from that. So what we have a kind of a lifestyle with the local people, with people that live here, that is kind of I'd say relaxed to some point in time. But when things turn sour, believe me, they get very sour because although this is a European country with a kind of a justice well established, sometimes if justice takes too long, I've seen several times that criminals got caught by terms of life. So
Yeah.
people that were identified and were not punished, suddenly they go away, they disappear, they have some setbacks in their life, and so it's kind of saying, yes, this is very safe, I'd say, for two things. One, because there is not a lot of crime, and the
Yeah.
other, people are kind of relaxed, but they are not silly to the point of everyone can do whatever they want. That's far away from that.
Yeah.
So this is safety is based on these premises.
Absolutely. So, because we are today actually talking about one of the most important subjects, which is leading to the nationality, leading to citizenship. Can you tell us, what is the benefit of having a Portuguese passport? Yeah.
Basically, I think the Portuguese passport is currently rated as third, fourth, fifth. It's a kind of a silly competition because we're talking about always the Portuguese passport can enter some 190, around 190 countries without visa, which is the same. There are another 5 or 6 passports across the world that, I mean, it's kind of depending on the year, could add one country, remove another country, but we talk, it's on the top 6 main passports that allow you to travel freely across the world.
That's fantastic.
That's the reason why things are work in good order. The other thing that I think it's not very much talked about. I mean, for me, that I've lived in other countries for many years and with family and carrying the family behind me and then coming back and moving countries. It's always, I had a maximum that I used to say that it's for me very difficult to have a good day if my kids have a bad day at school, especially when you are abroad.
Yeah.
And this is so, and I had, my kids experienced all the harassment you can imagine in the different schools across the world. And we had, sometimes we had to go there and help solving and trying to get the children to learn how to deal with this stuff. But it's not easy. And I know it's not easy by experience, not because someone told me. And one of the things that I find, and for, I don't know the nationality of the majority of the audience, but for instance, I had a client here in Portugal many years ago. He is a Indian origin. He's a doctor in Manchester, and he got a second marriage, and there's a son. And his wife is Irish, blonde, white, blue eyes, and his kid suffered a lot of harassment in UK when he was studying there. So he decided that he moved with his family down to Algarve. His kid went to the British school in Algarve, and he was commuting between Manchester and Faro every weekend.
Wow.
Because that was what made him feel happy, because this harassment because of mixed race or whatever disappears. So it's not that there is no racism in Portugal, but it is kind of not well regarded socially, and from a legal perspective, it's normally very harshly condemned, and that makes especially for attractive and comfortable for people from other origins to come and live in Portugal. Having said that, you don't know that part, and Raim doesn't know because we never talked about this, is that Portugal has a tradition of having immigrants since year 1270.
Yeah, yeah, it is truly
Since this, for the past
immigrant
almost
country.
eight centuries,
Yeah,
Portuguese population has always received, on average, 10% immigrants all over the 800 centuries of history. So it's kind of the current situation and the challenges behind Golden Visa and are basically it's not a matter of receiving well the people, it's more a matter of small politics from one year to another or whatever. It's kind of it does not affect the overall 800 years of history. And we talk from the people that came from in the 12th century, people that came from south of France, when it was the fights between the Pope of Rome and the Pope of in France. I cannot remember the name of the city now. And so when there was two, they came here, and after that it was from Africa, and then it was from Brazil, and then it was from Eastern Europe, and then it's from China, and then and it's like this for centuries, one after the other, and it has always been very high. The percentage is mixed race, and I normally I joke with my clients when they say if they are from a different origin and they say, I'm going to be treated poorly in Portugal. You have a problem. Not that you are being treated poorly. You have a problem. The only problem you have is that your daughter or your son are likely to marry a Portuguese. More than 80% of your children will be mixed with Portuguese.
yes, yeah.
People don't believe me, but they will learn if they live here.
Only time will tell, right? Only time will tell. Okay, no, this is a great segue because we're talking now, even planning for the future years. We're talking about, how generations are being benefited and changed and mixed. Back in the day, it was obviously a different way that people would immigrate to the country. Today, we have many different ways on how you can actually be in the country and invest in the country. So having said that, what can you tell us about the investment program here, right? Like what is the possible ways that someone who is cannot physically move today, but later down the road wants to be Portuguese and benefit from this golden passport, let's say.
Yeah, let's say I think there is a question that I'll try also to address on passing by this. So basically, in terms of possible cards that can be or titles that can be used, is the temporary residence card for the first 5 years of the Golden Visa, and that's a common. It has mechanics that is you have the first year, then you need to renew it for another 2 years, and finally on the third year you need to renew for the last 2 years. So it makes in total 5 years for the temporary residence cards, where you actually need to have 3 different ones, because the first one is 1 year, second 2 years, third 2 years. Exactly. After that, there are 2 options. One is the permanent residence card, and the other is passport.
Exactly.
So, and it's kind of, they have more or less the same requirements to access, except for the permanent residence card. You probably may need to have some proof of mobility and residence, that this may change and adapt along the years. Passport is passport, so it's finished. Some countries, they have an issue with or some countries have some issues regarding double nationality. That does not exist in Portugal, so people may need, but I think the lawyers that you may have in Portugal may help you to make a decision 5 years down the road, which is more suitable for your plan of life and lifestyle. The other part is that the Golden Visa is embraces and caters for the natural family. So typically, let's say if it is a physical, if it's the normal traditional families, the father, the kids, and the father of the father or mother in this case. So it's kind of the grandparents, mother and father, and the kids. And how this normally the applicant is one in the middle, so then they can also bring as family everyone on the three levels.
Mm-hmm.
There is only one basic requirement, is that both parents, so grandparents and the kids, so the upper level and the bottom level and the lower level, need to be financially dependent from the applicant. That is, let's say, if an applicant has a father who is a very well succeeded rich man,
Mm-hmm.
he must have a golden visa for his own. If he has a father who is in pain and he needs medical attention and he needs to bring him with him and he supports his health care and he needs to take care of him, he may bring him. Okay. If that is the normal situation, but the family can be enlarged, what we call natural family. Let's say if you have, and these days people coming from war zones, they are likely to have kids from their brothers that they take care, so their nephews, and all this can be fitted into the natural family. That means under the Golden Visa, those kids that are orphans but they are close to the family and they are actually being taken care by someone, they can be brought under the same Golden Visa. So the concept of family for this Golden Visa is an enlarged concept, very close to the concept of the United Nations when they come to definition of a family. Okay, so this is what Golden Visa has to offer, basically.
So you, of course, have a lot of experience in representing, several different clients from several different nationalities. Can you tell us, which nationalities, particularly you have represented, but also what is, at least nowadays, kind of the flavor of the month, let's say, in terms of who are actually coming forward in terms of their nationalities and benefiting from these golden visas lately as well. So what has been the history, but also lately, who is the clientele, which nationality is more attuned to obtaining these benefits?
Is everyone, I'd say these days we are checking in a lot. I mean, it's kind of every time you have a area of the world that is kind of becoming difficult to live, some sort of local day-to-day life activities get complicated and difficult and harsh. We get a request from those zones. So we had 2 years ago the Hong Kong. Hong Kongese, lots of them. Now that the last 3 weeks, a lot of Chinese. Before last year, we had a lot of people from the war zone in Central Europe, not only from the Russia, Ukraine, but also even from Czech Republic and from Kazakhstan and from Azerbaijan. And so this is, we notice immediately by the type of requests that we have. And as the moment that a certain area gets a problem, then we start receiving immediately requests for information and so on. There is one question that I didn't quite respond. I don't know if we have the map. I don't know if I think you have a map of Portugal. I don't know. I cannot remember the sequence here. That is regarding what is the changes for the Golden Visa in Portugal in the 2022. What happened in January?
Yeah, please go ahead. Let's talk about that.
Basically, I would say there is no major change. I mean, there is a change, but one could say that everything stays as it was before January 2022, with one exception, that in developed areas and such as Lisbon area, Porto area, most of the coast between Porto, the seafront between Porto and Lisboa, and also in parts of Algarve, has been considered as highly developed areas. And in these areas, you can do the Golden Visa as before, except residential does not qualify to ask for the Golden Visa.
The residential
if you buy a plot of land, or if you buy a factory, or if you buy a warehouse, or if you buy a parking space, or if you buy an office or a shop, it qualifies as before. Residential is only allowed on the low density areas. And now you can start laughing, because the low density areas in Portugal, sometimes we're talking about 20 people by square kilometer, 30 people by square kilometer. So it's really low density.
Really low.
So it's kind of thing. So this is the things that have changed. Other than that, you can apply anywhere because of this change. That's why we started working. That's also this project very strongly in the one that Raheem, I think, is going to present later. That is Palácio do Sal, because this project allows you to actually be free. You can buy. It's probably, in terms of cost, the most cost-effective project for 280K currently for sale in Portugal. And you put a little money down there, and then if you're looking for a house, then if you want to have a villa with sea view, or by the mountain, or near Lisbon or whatever, or an apartment in the center of the city close to the university or something of the kind, it's fine, because you can buy this second property without any legal constraints and without any implications with your Golden Visa. You tie your Golden Visa with the project, and then you are free to buy the house for your lifestyle. If you are coming with kids to go to school or to the university, or just yourself because you are coming on retirement, or any other situation, you can choose in any part of Portugal to buy a house. And that's this freedom and lifestyle that you can enjoy. You need to take care, because you won't be able to use that house that you buy, an apartment in Lisbon. You cannot use it for Golden Visa, but you can use it to live or even to rent it. So it's all options are there, and you can do it in steps. You can now do the Golden Visa, and in 2 years' time, when the kids are coming out of school or changing school to another one, you buy that house later. But you have your life laid down peacefully, without hiccups and so on. So that's how I see the beauty and the interest and for this particular project.
So you mentioned something. You said interior of Portugal is now eligible for the Golden Visa.
Yep.
And you also said that commercial has always, of course, been, but residential is something that is now, of course, as we do hotel development, and the clients that you recommend are also for this particular category. And we have a question here as well, is about taxes. So can you tell us, from your experience also, how does taxes work when you buy a residential property versus the projects that we have, and of course I will talk about that also. But in residential, let's say, what are the taxes and how much does one have to pay when they purchase or maintain or sell?
Basically, let's say, let's just take the because you have two types of taxes. You have the taxes related with the property, when you buy or sell property, and when you keep property. Let's just follow the life cycle. When you buy the property, basically, when you buy the property, and there are two taxes that have some impact. One is IMT, and it's the name of the tax. It's just the property tax. And the other is stamp duty. The old, silly, stupid stamp duty also exists here. Stamp duty is not a lot of money. It's 0.8% of the sales value of the property. And basically, it's kind of I don't know. I think stamp duty exists in every country, so everyone must be more or less aware of what it serves. Stamp duty is a replacement of these big rubber oil stamps that you put on a paper. Okay, so now you don't put the rubber stamp, but the government still collects the money as they will put in the rubber stamp. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the stamp duty. It's 0.8 and basically applies because the property changes to your name. It changes from the seller. So registering the property in your name, you need to pay 0.8 stamp duty. Now, the other duty is a bit more expensive. It's the real buying tax. It is IMT. And IMT may range as a minimum from 1% up to 6.5. It is. There are two ways of looking at it, because one is for housing. The stamp duty until I cannot recall from top of my head, but 97,000 euros is 1%. Over that, it goes to 2%, and then 3 and 4 and 5, until when it reaches 560,000 euros, it's 6%. And if it is a shop, it's 6.5. If it is a commercial, it's 6.5. In the meantime, you have if you buy a plot of land, which also qualifies, it depends now on the classification, but it go around 4%, 5%, depending on the classification of the land. So this gives you, for buying property, those are the big taxes. Then there are all the rest you can pay with 1,000 euros. That includes dinner, champagne, and seafood for the commemoration dinner when you do the buy. So that pays for registration, notary fees, and so on. And so that is little money. That's not that includes everything. So celebration dinner is included in 1,000 for all the other costs that we have when you buy a property. Okay.
So what I'll do is
if I go through if you want, I can go on if you keep a property, then you have a year by year tax that you need to pay, which is based on the tax value, not on the pay or the money you paid for the property. And the tax value is normally, generally speaking, is much less. It used to be 80%, 75, 85. Normally, but in some cases it goes even lower. And you need to pay something depending, minimum is 0.3% of that value. So let's say we're talking about or 0.5 maximum, depending on the municipality where it is. So again, it's if you think an apartment in Lisbon, you may think that you may pay 500, 1,000. If it's a very expensive apartment, you may pay 1,500 per year.
Exactly.
So that's keeping the property. That's basically. If you sell the property, or when you sell the property, then you have the added value tax to pay. And it's a bit more complex to calculate, and I advise you to use some special people that may help you with whoever is helping you with the sale. You should contact them carefully, do a simulation on your added value tax, because some surprises can come from there, because it's kind of it's basically whatever you paid initially 5 years or 6 years or 10 years ago. It's the difference between what you paid and what you are selling now, but it's not exactly what you paid. It's what you paid. Then there is a finance correction factor. Then there is a possibility of including other works that you have done in the past 5 years, and there are also the costs of the agency commission fees for selling and so on. All this increases the cost value, so reduces the profit. And then when it gets to the profit, you need to pay 25%. There was a dispute. That dispute was solved last year with the Supreme Court. So now you just pay like everyone else. I mean, foreigners and Portuguese, they pay everyone like the same as 25% roughly on the profit.
So all in all, the journey starts with the tax and ends with the tax. That's right. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. So I will take this opportunity here to present the project which you introduced earlier. It is Palacio de Sal. And I think the first question you will ask is, where is this project? So I'd like to tell you, even though this is classified as interior region, it is only 55 minutes off the highway from the downtown city of Lisbon. And it is one of the first counties that is right outside of Lisbon that is qualified as the interior zone. However, the name, it is actually a very populated place for what it does and where it is located, and the historic center and all the different things that this particular area has to offer, especially when it comes to tourisms or weddings or corporate event. There are so many things that happens, especially summertime. So it's absolutely exhilarating, very, very bright. People are out and about on the streets. In the evenings, there's lots of parties. So definitely a place that a hotel project would be very, very successful. And we're happy to announce this project is close to about 70% constructed. So you're not investing in something that is to be constructed in the future. You are investing in something that will be matured in a very, very short time. So this is an actual picture of the hotel project, which we call as Palacio de Sal. Now, what I will do is also I will give you the summary. One of the questions also that is here is that, can the minimum investment of 280K is sufficient to make the Golden Visa application? In this scenario, that is the truth. Yes. And now what happens is that, like Vashko was saying, apartments, when you go for an apartment option, it is the 280 plus the VAT, plus the IMT, plus the maintenance cost, plus the furniture that you have to furnish with, plus the property management. So you have a lot of, plus the capital gains when you sell. So you have a lot of plus. And an apartment, let's say a 1-bedroom in the middle of the interior region, where the rents are like 400, 500 euros per month. So from a point of view of a high net worth investor, which you are, do you really care about that 400 euros a month? Or do you really care about your investment, your citizenship, your passport, your residency, and like Vashko mentioned, having a different investment opportunity, let's say for your residence or for your growth in your investment, right? So this is something that you have to find a nice and nice balance into. These are some renderings that we have of the project. If you are in Portugal, if you decide to make a trip down, we will be more than happy to drive you to the project, show you the nearby area, show you the beaches of Comporta, and really take you on a boat tour out there, so you can see how scenic and beautiful the place is itself. This is essentially the summary, the end all be all on what we are offering today. In Palacio de Sal, we have a total of 110 new investors. A majority is now already getting onboarded. So I highly encourage you, if you are thinking about it, 2 years from now, 1 year from now, but you have the funds available, I would not hesitate. I would go ahead and make that investment, because I'll tell you, the process of Golden Visa today in Portugal is also very bureaucratic, takes time, takes energy, takes documentation. So by the time you will have your residency cards, it could be a while. So don't take this for granted. There will be, processing timelines associated with this particular investment for your residency card. So if you have the funds available, rather than having it sit in your bank account or as an equity in your investment property, in your property elsewhere, use that for the Golden Visa investment, and look at this as an investment, which is what a lot of high net worth individuals are looking at, which is not just investing in gold or businesses, but this is an investment vehicle which is being offered today as well. So the investment amount is 280,000. The bonus that you have here is that this project, currently we are offering 30,000 euros upfront as a yield. Okay, most of the projects that are with this kind of high finish luxury brands, international brands like Wyndham, they don't offer any return. However, we are offering only at the current time, until we reach a threshold, 30,000 euros as an upfront yield for the next 6 years. We are also paying all the taxes, so you don't have to worry about IMT, IMI, any VAT of any kind, nothing of whatsoever. On top of that, we're also giving you a 7 days free stay in any of the TLG properties. And if you like to further live beyond the 7 days, it's a 50% off the tariff price as well. So this is not just in this project. In our villa project, we are soon to launch 2 other hotel projects, and in any of the projects, you will be eligible to stay with your family for that 7-day mandatory period. Now, after that 6-year period, when you have fulfilled your requirement and you will obtain your Portuguese nationality, your citizenship, or your permanent residency card, you have a 100% guaranteed buyback. And this is the beauty of this project, is that, well, you do not pay any capital gains, because you've invested 280, you've not paid any taxes, which is lost money, and you've received your 280,000 back completely in full. So this is the beauty of this kind of project, where you have a 100% guaranteed buyback, and you are not a share, you're not buying a share, or you're not buying a timeshare. You are an owner of one of the owners of the hotel project. So this is the benefit, that this is actually a fractional ownership, a co-ownership deal, a real estate deal. So it's backed by physical building, not by anything else, So this is actually the benefit of investing. When you look at numbers to numbers, you will see an apartment will always cost you plus, whereas this hotel deal, really, if you look at it, the net investment is 250,000. Okay, so this is the real benefit that you have. Some pictures I'll show you just to kind of impress upon you, what the final product would look like. So you've got the reception here, you've got the spa services, you've got a Turkish bath, a very luxurious stay that you will find here. modern and ultra modern rooms and suites with a private deck, a very large conference facility for businesses, for weddings, for various different functions. You have so many different areas that you can really come around and relax and lounge and party. You've got a very high class and modern bar, along with it, a really exquisite, not this big of a gym, it's a picture, but a gym that is associated. Now, you will always have a question about how can you guarantee a buyback. Okay, so this is our answer to that. We've conducted an independent third party appraisal, and this is the report, and we're more than happy to share the report with you that the appraisal value is much beyond the investment cost at the 6th year of operation. So this is our mechanism to actually do the buyback. The best thing about this project is that this project will actually see, physically, it will see a 6-year, 5-year run, versus a lot of the other projects on the market are purely just ground. So to actually launch it and start operating it, it will take 3 or 4 years. And in the hospitality business, we've been in the hospitality business for a long period, and we know the first 2 years you don't make money. It's sunk costs, and then you pick up the business. Okay, so please be mindful of various different projects who are at ground zero and only on paper, versus invest in projects that are at maturity, so where the building actually exists. So this is our style of investment. And of course, we have to mention we are very lucky to be partnered up with Wyndham, which is one of the strongest brands in all over the world. And Wyndham has today a total of 26 brands, and we're happy to say that we have the Wyndham Garden brand on this particular hotel. And from a perspective of worldwide, it has a total of 9,200 rooms. Very, very heavy, of course, in the United States, and a very growing number, a large growing number in Europe as well. We, of course, are exclusive partners on several things, and we're launching more and more of these Wyndham brand projects as we go along, because of the standards, because of the loyalty programs, because of the continuous feedback of good quality management that Wyndham keeps within its infrastructure and within its cycle. So we're very, very happy to be a part of the Wyndham family. And of course, you have a picture of Wyndham that is listed on the NASDAQ and stock exchange, and a very, very profitable company. So you should get the benefit and the peace of mind that it is not a solo business, or it's not TLG's business, but it is backed by a very powerful brand, and the recognition is there throughout the world. Okay, some pictures, stock pictures, of course, from the brand. So when it is all delivered, this is stock pictures of the Garden brand on how things will look like when it's all done. So this is to impress upon you the kind of quality finishes and the kind of hotel finishes that we will provide when the project is actually in operations. Okay, and very simply, this is not our first rodeo. Like I said, we've been involved in development for several years in Portugal directly over the last 4.5 years. Have already completed several projects in Lisbon and outside of Lisbon, and we are now delivering 2 amazing new projects, which is Palácio de Sal and Wyndham Residences. Wyndham Residences is another project that is eligible for the 500,000 Golden Visa category, where you are not a co-owner, but you are a villa owner. If you want to learn about this particular project, please let us know. This project is already 80% sold out. We still have a few units available. So if you want to invest in a community, in a big community with various different services and clubhouse, and your own villa where you can actually come and stay as long as you want also, this is another project that I will definitely recommend you to make your investment in. And finally, I will wrap it up and take more questions, of course, but this is an end-to-end process. We have a very strong team who will provide their services to you to assist you in your journey in all of the Golden Visa process. So from legal counsel to bank accounts to making the investments to biometrics, all the way through to your citizenship. So this is a very streamlined process that we have in store for you. Please reach out to us, even if it is just out of query, or if it is just to have a chat and try to understand more how we do this. We're more than happy to assist with this entire process. Okay, so back again to Vasco for a couple more questions that we have here, and I will take one question here. Is there a return of investment? What is the exit strategy of this investment after the residency? I think that's mine. Why don't I take a question for you, Vasco, here? How long is the wait or processing time for the Portuguese Golden Visa? So from
Oh,
your perspective,
that's
favorite question of the year.
yes, yes. I mean, it's kind of. I like this question very much. It's listen. It's I've seen. I think I cannot even remember, but I think the law says 60 days. I can because it has. I think it happened for a period in the last. So 12. So talking about golden visa is in place for 10 years. I think the CEF were able to comply with the 60 days during a period of 3 or 4 months over a period of 10 years. So generally speaking, and just to cut it short, is the expectation should be to get the card in on, I'd say, 12 months, eventually a little less. So typically, it's kind of, since you enter and have started the process, you should consider 6 months until you actually get the interview for biometrics, and another 6 months waiting for the processing and due diligences from the immigration department and all that stuff. This is the right place to put the expectations. Having said that, this is that's not what was initially thought about it, but different reasons have stopped. Typically organical reasons within the organization of the immigration department that were and did not enable the possibility of doing it fast. For the first time after 10 years, they have finally a new organization who is being put in place, I would say with some surprise, softly, and it's starting to work. They got people. They got over 1,000 people extra over the past few 6 months. So it's coming. It's coming. So the expectations is, I think we should start to look to do 12 months as not to exceed. And the expectations, I always hate that, should be eventually, could be set a little lower, but I mean, we need to see how it goes in the coming months. Now that they are manned, they have a new organization in place. They have the human resources to do it. So eventually, things will go faster. But I mean, it's just it's not just wishful thinking. It's that for the first time in 10 years, someone decided to do something different. If they do something different in the organization, we could expect different result. If we have the same organization, the same bad habits, then we could not expect anything. But again, it has not proved yet. I mean, this is that's what we face. So, in summary, I'd say 12 months, coming a little less.
That's absolutely true, and this is exactly what has been echoed. If you are still kind of in that zone where you want to make a decision but not today, talk to us. Look at the reality of on the ground where things will take time in terms of your processing, and it's just you who will be happier later down the road because you've made that decision now versus a year, because things do get delayed. What I would also like to do is address some of the questions, especially, in terms of, there was one question that was asked, what documents are needed for the Portuguese Golden Visa? What I'd like to do is to kind of show you our website. It's called wyndhamportugal.com. You can sign up on this website for the first time. You go in, you create a user ID, sends you an OTP, and there you go. You have both of these options that I've mentioned here. You click on the 280,000 option, and then voila, you have all the documents that you need for your review, for the due diligence that you want to provide. You know, you want to calculate exactly what your costs are, it's here. You want to see what contracts you will be signing, it's here. You know, everything that you need in terms of review of the investment, the presentation, everything is here. One thing that is very different from a lot of developers, which we have done, is basically the processing. Okay, so we have centralized processing for all of our clients now, where you can actually go in here and start uploading your documents, so that, you know, our teams in the background can start processing it as we receive. So we've got stages like the NIF number. All the documents that we need are pretty much here. For the bank account, these are the documents that we need to assist, and then the application itself, these are the documents, and that's it, you know. So of course each case is a bit different, so the legal team will come and support you and assist you on the next steps. But really this is kind of a 4-step process where we can assist you very easily and begin your journey of Golden Visa. Okay, so again, look at the site wyndhamportugal.com, and you know, choose a project and do your due diligence, ask your questions, and that's that. Okay, so yeah, that's a very quick plug-in for the work that has been done by our IT department, I guess. All right, so we have one last question. Let's say, you know, let's see which one can I pick. I'll just pick the one that I think was asked earlier. What is the exit strategy? And I think really the exit strategy for this particular project is your guaranteed 100% buyback from our company of the 280,000 euros Golden Visa. So that is basically the exit strategy that you have, you know, for after that 6-year period. Okay, and your return of investment is the 30K upfront, and the savings that you have of all the taxes, and of course of the 7 days free stay, and the services that we provide to assist you, the administrative services to apply for your Golden Visa. Okay, so that's that. Any last words, Vashko, on?
Yeah, just one thing. I mean, there was one question about the biometrics in the
Yes.
embassy. This is something that has been. I mean, this I don't think this came out of the blue, because this was an announcement that was made even before COVID, that biometrics. I mean, it was a way to kind of clear the work with CEF for the Golden Visa and for any other type of residence permits.
Yeah.
To have the embassies to do it. And the problem is it got started. It got started for Portuguese people, but then it was kind of stalled, and COVID came, and everything got stuck. I'd say this is not new. This is something that has already been thought, prepared, pre-launched, but it never started to work. So I would not be surprised it's over with the new organization and the new things, that this will come along, and probably during this year or early next year, this matter will come again into alive.
That'll be great. That will be great, because you have a lot of clients all over the world who don't want to travel all the way just for biometrics, you know?
Yeah.
So it would be great to have it in their own backyard, for sure. Okay, so for these kind of updates, please plug in, subscribe to the button wherever there is, below, above, on the side, and listen to these amazing tidbits that we have. You know, get in touch. We will send a recording with Vashko's details and my details as well. to everyone. So feel free to get in touch with us for any information.
Yes, I was scrolling the question. There is only one that it comes along to us very on a personal one-to-one meetings. That is the if we can have multiple investments, multiple properties on the Golden Visa, and the answer is yes, but they must follow in the same. There are 4 categories of Golden Visa. 280, 400, 350, and 500. You must buy the properties always around, could be 1 or 10 or 100, but they must fall in the same category. So you need to choose which is your strategy, and then you can have as many properties as it's required to make the amount of money from 280 to 500 in any of the programs.
That's true.
If it is 1, it is 1. If it is 10, it is 10. That's no problem.
That's exactly it. And but most people, as you know, they typically just go for that one investment for their purpose. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So that's it from us. Thank you very much for plugging in, and hopefully we'll see you at the next webinar. Thank you, 𝐓𝐚𝐤𝐞, for joining in.
Take care. See you soon.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Cláusula adicional que